Hi, I'm Bruce Samuelson, teach at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, and I'm here showing with my wife, Mary Spinelli.
Bruce, you were one of my favorite teachers at the Pennsylvania Academy because you were really good at general advice plus detailed specific critiques.
Students inspire me all the time. It allows me to think about different problems. Each student is individual and it's so complex between each one. And I take that with me. They truly do inspire me.
Can you tell me about your art background, your training?
It goes all the way back to when I was maybe 6 years old. I said I was going to be an artist and went to the academy right out of high school. Walked into the front doors of the academy and I knew I was home. And I haven't left since.
When was that?
That was in 1964. I was there for the 4 years of the certificate, and I was there as a janitor, and then I soon after started teaching there in 73.
Who were some of your influential teachers?
Quite a few of them. My main influence probably came from Hobson Pittman, also though Walter Stumpfig, Julian Levy. They were the main inspiration for me.
Your art has always been based on the figure. Was figure drawing something that you loved then and continue to love now?
Yeah, always. Ever since I was 12 years old.
That's when you first saw Naked Lady?
That's correct.
Who were some of your influences? As I look at your work, I've always thought a little bit about Francis Bacon and the idea of abstracting the figure.
He would probably be my main influence, but even before that, even before the academy, Picasso influenced me. It's a mixed bag, always Michelangelo, Rembrandt, Goya. At the academy, I got interested in Rico Lebrun, Giacometti, Henry Moore.
Did you ever do sculpture?
A little bit in the first year at the academy. In fact, I was debating whether to go into sculpture more than painting. Even today, I feel like I'm a frustrated sculptor. In fact, I bought a 20-pound bag of water-based clay wrapped up in a square and sat in my studio for a couple of years, and every once in a while I would poke it to see if it's still soft. And that's my extent of sculpture today.
These figure drawings and paintings, do you use a model, or are they from memories or looking at old drawings?
Not anymore. For maybe 30 years now, I haven't used models. Maybe earlier on I would academically study them because I enjoyed it. The answers were in front of me and it built my vocabulary. But I don't use models now. I usually work out of chaos. I have no preconceived idea what I want to do. Occasionally a piece might trigger another piece, but usually it begins in chaos.
There are some that reference mythological subjects like perhaps Leda and the Swan or Prometheus. Is that something you're consciously going towards now?
No, not at all. During the work or after the work, I might start to see different things as other people might see it, but I don't have any narrative or symbolic reasons for the images.
But the figures, there is almost a tragic quality to them. It's like you take human life very seriously. At least that's the way I look at these.
Some people do consider the work violent. I've gotten that for a long time. And anytime you distort our image, I think people usually think of it as something violent or not right. When really I'm responding to the materials and trying to suggest movements, figures moving simultaneously in different positions, and that will warp the form.
So that's the Picasso influence coming back?
Could say that, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Your use of color has always intrigued me because they're quite tonal, except you'll have these brilliant flashes of color.
Yeah, these accents, or I guess little higher notes occasionally, it's just to counter the earthiness of the other color of flesh or landscape. Plus, I don't like the color to scream at you. I like it to be just an undercurrent.
What do you use to create the drawings?
Well, there's variety in this show. Most of them are pastel and charcoal. There are two pieces that are pastel, charcoal, oil, maybe some pencil on paper. Again, it comes from not really knowing exactly where the work's going to go, and different materials might come into play without preconceiving that. And there's also oil and canvas.
Do you use a medium with the oil painting?
It's a relatively simple medium, 2 parts thinner to 1 part stand oil.
Do you prefer painting in oil or drawing, or do you kind of balance them?
Actually, I'm trying to get the paintings to feel closer to drawing and the drawings to feel closer to the painting. It goes back and forth.
You mentioned Picasso before, and he had a lot of different styles. You've pretty much maintained a similar style for a long time.
I was just talking about that very thing about Picasso to another faculty member at the Academy, how many different styles he could work at the same time and going through different movements, yet you could still tell it's Picasso. It's always there. That's very hard to do, to change that much and still hold your identity.
I'm Mark Levitt, and I work with Bruce over at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Art. We had been talking a little bit after the Lynch show about the influence of Bacon on Lynch, and Bruce said that Bacon was kind of in the air when they were talking. So I was predisposed to find Bacon here, but I wasn't predisposed to find Giotto and opening up of a symbolic language of light in the work. These two pieces exhibit a whole different kind of spatial and narrative openness and a poeticism that comes from the admittance of those other kinds of slightly more eccentric languages into the work that make me just very happy to see these two.
Knowing that I'm about to make a movie about you, Bruce, you might think carefully about this next question. I was clearly your favorite art student at the Academy of all time, correct?
I've always thought that, yes.
Very good.